Kala Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles who taught me this truth. This is your brother Dawad, the real brother beloved, and this is only for the
elect.
Only for the elect. The reason you came around us is because you thought we had the truth and that we was men of the Lord.
Mr. Henry, why don't you have a plan to systemic racism? Sir, Mr. Henry, why haven't you laid out a plan to address systemic racism?
I'd like to sign this bill. This is a very different thing. And by the way, what's happened to our country and what you now see, it's been happening, is the greatest thing that can happen for race relations, for the African American community, for the Asian American, for the Hispanic American community, for women, for everything.
What's your plan?
Because our country is so strong, and that's what my plan is. We're going to have the strongest economy in the world. We almost are there now. We had the strongest economy anywhere in the world, and now we're going to have an economy that's even stronger.
Sir, how would a better economy?
I'd like to sign this.
Yeah, just to follow up, how would a better economy have protected George Floyd? Sure, I'll ask after. Will you take questions after, sir?
Black unemployment went up by 0.1%. Asian American unemployment went up by 0.5%. How is that a victory?
You are something.
How is that a victory?
Thank you very much.
My son, walk not thou in the way with them, refrain thy foot from their path, for their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird, and they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privily for their own lives. So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners thereof.
Shalom, Yasharala. The hard, cold facts are this. If not for the forced migration, imprisonment, and inhumane treatment of so-called Negro slaves, the conquering, plundering, and the wicked subjection over the so-called native Indians, the people, their resources, and land, if not for the raping, robbing, and pillaging of the children of the Most High Power Yahweh, whom the world ignorantly calls God, period, the unified states of America, KKK, would not have a pot to piss in, never mind a window to throw it out of. This is Nahum chapter 3, verse 1, and it reads, Woe to the bloody city, which is America. It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not, meaning Esau, the nation of Esau Edom, responsible for the bloodletting, conniving, and thievery America was founded on, never left, and his spirit and the essence of his wicked acts is prevalent today. America's wealth, growth, its prosperity, its economic prowess, and one-time financial dominance is directly rooted in the transatlantic slave trade. America was founded on the blood of slaves. It was the free labor of the so-called Negroes that was used to support the largest commodity in a industry of the 1800s, the picking of cotton. This is how America, aka Babylon, the great spiritual Sodom in Egypt, became an empire and the global power it is today. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 12, and it reads, Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establisheth a city by iniquity. This iniquity, meaning wickedness, is being spoken of on a physical as well as spiritual level. The long-standing idea is that America was founded on fundamental Christian ideologies, but that is simply not true. The truth is the American blueprint, as far as its draconian laws and measures, its architecture even, as well as its infrastructure, is cemented on satanic Masonic principles, plain and simple. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68, and it reads, And the Most High Power Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spoke unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondsmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. The Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, meaning the children of Israel, for their rebellion against Yahweh's laws, statutes, and commandments, would be brought again into slavery, again into bondage, like that they experienced in Egypt. And the American slave trade was just that. Again, Israel was brought under the subjection of a corrupt and godless people. This is why you have a pyramid on the back of the American dollar bill. The American economy's major financial backing first came by way of enslaving the true children of Israel, courtesy of the re-emerged pagan, really Greco-Roman Empire, all from the line of Edom, represented by the eagle, all from the same stock, and the so-called Jews, biblically known as Amalek, who are all of the same lineage, are too complicit in our enslavement by paying for the ships and funding the entire operation. The proof, along with their ideals, are printed on the American dollar bill. Coincidentally, the only denomination that you can positively be sure will change hands with every walk of life throughout America and the world over. The Magen David, so-called Star of David, which is really the Star of Remphan, Roman numerals, Latin terms, the Grecian Owl Athena, Minerva in Rome if you're nasty, obscured somewhere off in the corner, Egyptian architecture crowned with the Eye of Horus, and a supposed reverence for God, Gomer, Oz, Dabar, which are said to be the Hebrew words in an acronym for what Masons suggest are their three great pillars, wisdom, strength, and beauty, although Gomer in Hebrew, according to the Strongs, means complete and Dabar means word. This is why I made reference to a spiritual iniquity being exhibited by America. The front of the bill is an illusion for all to see. The back of the bill represents the hidden. Nothing more than a sleight of hand magic trick, lending credence to the idea that the founding of America is based on a spirit of witchcraft. The only thing missing here is a goat. And no man shall buy you, meaning no man, no pork chop preacher, no activist, no religious or political leader can save you. Only Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah can redeem you. The J.P. Morgans, Wells Fargos, the vast majority of American-made financial institutions and insurance companies own slaves as collateral. The elite rulership is not resting its laurels on its boyish charm and good table manners. Its wealth was acquired primarily off of the back of so-called blacks and the obtaining of riches from regions and territories owned by so-called browns that did not belong to them. This is why their answer to everything concerning the injustices we've suffered at their hands is throw money at it. Give them some money, they'll be all right. Definitely speaks to Esau's carnal nature. Let's get some more scripture and we'll close out. This is Job chapter 20, verse 15, and it reads, He hath swallowed down riches. Now the Hebrew word for to swallow down is bala'ai, meaning to absorb, to devour eagerly, with the idea of greediness, with the veracity of a wild beast. An exact example how Esau has ravaged Israel ever since he's had us in captivity. The idea here is that the nation of Edom has stopped at nothing to gain what is not rightfully his, and not for 1 second dreams of returning or refunding what he has deceitfully gained. And he shall vomit them up again. The Most High shall cast them out of his belly. Now this speaks to the recognition by the world over of Esau's, aka the elite banking family's greed. Quick precept. This is Psalm 17 and 13, and it reads, Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. In my last lesson, we discussed how the sword is Esau's blessing. Furthermore, he is the whipping stick the Lord uses to correct and punish Israel and the other nations. Verse 14, From men which are thy hand, O Lord, from men of the world, which have their portion in this life, and whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure, they are full of children, and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. Now that it's being revealed just how the global elite, the Rothschilds, the Oppenheimers, the DuPonts, the Rockefellers, the 1%, etc., when it fully comes to light how these ruling class families acquired their wealth, like the drug trade and the exploitation of illicit drug use, the same drug abuse America proposed to wage a war on, knowing it was a war he couldn't win simply because he himself was complicit in funding and benefiting from it, therefore never having any real intention to end it in the first place. And then there's Big Pharma and its lobbying on a federal level, the countless prescription as well as over-the-counter drugs approved by the FDA that will never forgo enough testing anyways to really be deemed as safe, yet they are unleashed on the public at will. Not to mention the idea of introducing toxins and poisons that have scientifically been proven to kill, not guard against, aid, or cure, into the human body via flu shots, really in the name of population control, if not for material gain. the destabilizing of countries using covert efforts, including the employing of economic hitmen, the assassination of leaders who disagree with their American foreign diplomacy and policy, so they infiltrate and insert their own puppet leadership, the so-called Jewish Holocaust, which they themselves funded and were responsible for, foreign and domestic terrorism, the killing of their own presidents, civil activists and religious leaders, JFK, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, 9/11, cancer, AIDS, Ebola, swine flu, COVID-19, the tobacco industry even, and let's not forget the most important, the attempted destruction of the so-called Negro race through the American slave trade and mass genocide of the Native American Indian. When Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah comes to redeem his chosen people, the real children of Israel, now that the public at large are made full aware and all can see the result of his ill-gotten gains, he will be forced to make, with great reluctance, full restitution. The coming of the Lord will make sure of it. That's why you see all these companies and major corporations making large donations in light of these recent events surrounding the George Floyd psyops. Many of them truly believe they can upset the prophecies and pay their way out of judgment. Nice try, buddy, but not so. The rest are continuing as planned, keeping with their New World Order agenda, hoping they can continue to pacify you and rock you to sleep. Verse 16, he shall suck the poison of asps, the viper's tongue shall slay him. The same deception, witchcraft, and wicked philosophies that allowed him to thrive will be his own downfall. 17, he shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. The nation of Esau will see the kingdom, but not as the child of promise. The redemption and deliverance of Israel is for Israel alone. The only river he's going to see is the river of tears to be shutting on the day of judgment, and the ass whooping they're going to get in the sweet by and by. Verse 18, and here's the point. That which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. Because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor, because he hath violently taken away a house which he buildeth not. And that speaks generally to all the riches he stole, including the so-called native lands of America and the land he now inhabits in modern-day Israel, as well as the nation of Yasharallah and identity of Yahweh's people. It will be restored by Edom, whether he likes it or not. So saith the Lord. Kal halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Rakak with Dash. Through the power and spirit, I hope you are edified. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom Yasharallah. Don't take that chip.
Oh, devil! Sooner or later, somewhere in the course of eternal justice, thou shalt answer for this sin. Sin. There is no sin.